somewhere for them it's a battle of existence. It's a battle for them to prove their identity, and there is a fear that if they do not cast their vote, what is going to happen to the next generation. So this time around, Nancy, we are also going to see massive turnout of voters during the second phase, and the second phase has some districts which are extremely sensitive and volatile.
Right. We are also being joined by senior journalist Nirmalya Mukherjee is with me on the broadcast. Mr. Mukherjee, this time the elections are quite hard to read, but my first up and straight question to you would be, do you think that BJP this time around will be able to breach Mamata Banerjee's bastion?
You see, this is Mamata's citadel. Brand Didi was developed from here itself.
Right.
When we saw her coming up in 2011, we have worked with her when she was fighting the CPIM. So the Brand Didi came up here, then she installed this Ma Mati Manush concept. But what I see now is that violence and votes, the two V's, it has become a synonym in these parts of Bengal, especially these 142 seats, because you have a mixed composition of people. The migrants are there, the laborers are there, the slum areas are there, a lot of people, the subaltern group is there. In the villages, what happened in the first phase, it was basically the village politics. Now it is urban and semi-urban politics. So urban, semi-urban politics is always very close. The fight is always very close. Whatever we talk of, the battle royal is in Bhawanipur, and that is the heart center of the city. That is in Kolkata. But you'll see in the adjoining areas, which is Trinamool citadel, I'm again telling you, this citadel, the way people are coming out, what you are reporting, as of now, this violence is nothing. People are saying in morning shows the day, because we have seen 200 people die in the last 45 years on poll day and even after post-poll violence. So we are habituated to all these things, and people who have been voting for long, they are also habituated. So the first thing they are doing is that they are coming out in the morning, voting as much as possible. And this vote, what I feel is that it is voting for change, what Deepshita said. It is vote for change, and they want to cast their vote. It could be because of SIR, it could be because of religious consolidation. That we do not know. That we'll come to know only on the 4th. But as of now, the scene, what I feel is very encouraging. In the first 2 hours, if the percentage of polling is around 20, then it is going to cross 90-95. That 90-95 which mattered. In Bengal, I have always said in this channel that Bengal since 2011 hasn't voted more. It has always voted less. So the polling percentage has come down. When Mamata came to power in 2011, there was 84% polling. Right. And in 2024, it had come down to 79. So the jump is quantum from 79 to 93 in the first phase. Of that 14%, if you take up the deletions and everything, it comes down to around 9 or 9.5% like that, all taken together. So if one thing is very interesting in this poll, that polling percentages are going up. I am only following, not the violence. The violence will happen. The only how much the poll percentage goes up this time. Last time it's 93 in the first phase. If it is 90, more than 93, so definitely there is something remarkable in this election, which we haven't seen before. I have been following elections for the last 45 years, but I haven't seen at least such the enthusiasm, even in the cities. I find that people are coming out very, very close. They want to end it up, and there are predictions that there will be Kal Boishakhi and all these things. You know, these things go on. So, lot of things, psyche, get into people's mind before they go to vote. So, this psyche is working. I must vote. I should protect my rights. Number one. Number two, whether it is for change, it is for them to decide. Third is the climatic factor. So many things going, and definitely these social factors of violence. Election Commission has done a marvelous job ensuring that there is no violence in the first phase. There was very little violence. It is not violence at all. It is just skirmishes, according to me. But this phase is very crucial, because this is Mamata's citadel, and people are voting. The trend is change. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his letter, he has not written a letter. Because you see, Narendra Modi has conducted 18 meetings and rallies. Amit Shah 66. So it is 84, 66 and 18. And Mamata herself alone has conducted 110 meetings, 110 rallies. She has and road shows. Right. And the bulk of it is in this part. So she is concentrated in this part, which shows she is not going to leave this citadel easily. She is going to put up as much fight as she can.
Right. Well, Mr. Mukherjee, stay with us. We have some political reactions coming in from West Bengal. Let's listen into that.
इस बार जो ये हम लोकतंत्र के बचाने के लड़ाई में लोग शामिल है, 27 लाख वोटर को काटा दिया गया है, तो और पहले 60 लाख, तो अब जो वोटर लिस्ट में जिनके नाम रह गए हैं वो डेफिनेटली सब 100% वोट देने आएंगे. इसीलिए वोटिंग परसेंटेज तो बहुत हाई होना ही है. ये सिंपल मैथमेटिक्स है. प्रतिशोध लेने का वोट दे रहे हैं क्योंकि लास्ट 5 महीनों से केंद्र सरकार और चुनाव आयोग ने जो मजाक किया है लोगों के साथ, लोकतंत्र के साथ, लोग उनका अच्छा कड़ी जवाब लोग देंगे और बल्कि पहले फेज में ऑलरेडी दे चुके हैं. तो आज वो होने वाला है. सो जो काम हमने शुरू किया था पहले फेज में वो सेकंड फेज में खत्म होने वाला है.
बीजेपी के लिए कोई डुएट ना जाए. हम 70-75 साल से राजनीति कर रहे हैं. धीरे धीरे हम लोग आगे बढ़े हैं. आज 21 राज्यों में हमारी सरकार है. माननीय मोदी जी को 3 बार लोगों ने चुना प्राइम मिनिस्टर. तो हमारी लड़ाई चलता रहता है. हमारी लड़ाई किसी एक चुनाव के लिए नहीं है. समाज परिवर्तन के लिए हम आए हैं. लोगों की जिंदगी में परिवर्तन हो, लोगों की और सामने परिवर्तन दिखे, विकास दिखे, इस प्रकार लड़ाई हम लड़ रहे हैं. एक प्रक्रिया है, यात्रा है हमारे लिए, और हम लड़ते रहेंगे, आगे बढ़ते रहेंगे.
नरेंद्र, आपने अनाउंस किया था बंगाल की सभी 294 सीट्स पर आप ही कैंडिडेट है. बड़ी बड़ी बात छोड़िए, ये चैलेंज स्वीकार कीजिए. 4 मई को जब ममता बनर्जी और टीएमसी बंगाल जीतेंगे, प्रधानमंत्री पद से रेजिग्नेशन दीजिए. है दम.
Well, thank you so much, Nirmalya Mukherjee, for joining me on the broadcast, and thank you so much, Sabyasachi, for joining me on the broadcast. For now, all eyes are on phase 2 elections in West Bengal. And
after a blockbuster first season, where corporate giants and industry leaders ruled the court, TV9 Network presents the ultimate corporate badminton championship season 2. A battle of skill, speed and supremacy, with a massive 5 lakh rupee prize pool across categories at Pulela Gopichand Badminton Academy, Gachibowli, Hyderabad, from the 15th to the 17th May 2026. The court is set. Let the battles begin. Catch the action only on TV9 Network. To register, log on to www.tv9x.com.
Associate sponsor, KL deemed to be university. Special partners, Campus Sure, Shukar hai, Sure hai. Venue partner, Pulela Gopichand Badminton Academy.
पढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया.
Water overflowing, what could it be?
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
And now shifting our focus, continuing his marathon temple visits ahead of the Tamil Nadu Assembly election results, TVK chief Vijay is scheduled to visit Shirdi Sai Baba temple today. This comes after his earlier visit to the revered Tiruchendur Murugan temple, which holds significant religious importance in the state. The timings of these temple visits is being closely watched as they come just ahead of the May 4th results, marking TVK's debut in Tamil Nadu politics. The visits are being seen as both spiritual engagements and politically symbolic moves during a crucial phase for the party. Meanwhile, heavy police security is expected to be deployed across the temple premise and surrounding areas to manage crowds and ensure law and order during the visit. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has drawn a firm constitutional line on the management of religious institutions while hearing a batch of petitions linked to the Sabrimala temple case. A 9-judge constitution bench led by Chief Justice Surya Kant has made it clear that while religious bodies have the right to manage their affairs, that authority cannot operate without structure or override constitutional principles. The court underlined that there cannot be a situation of unchecked functioning within religious spaces. It emphasized that every institution, whether a temple or a dargah, must have clearly defined modalities and norms to ensure orderly functioning. Regulation, the bench observed, is essential not only for management but also for maintaining balance between faith and constitutional values. At the same time, the court stressed that such regulatory powers cannot cross the boundaries set by the Constitution. Practices that violate principles like equality and non-discrimination remain subject to judicial scrutiny. The observation comes as the bench examines broader questions around religious freedom, essential practices and the rights of denominations. The proceedings also touched upon arguments related to Sufi traditions and denominational rights within Islam, highlighting the diversity of religious practices in India. However, the court indicated the challenge of defining what constitutes as an essential religious practice, noting that judicial forums may find it difficult to lay down rigid parameters. This hearing gains significance in the backdrop of the 2018 verdict, which allowed entry of women of all age groups into the Sabrimala temple, striking down earlier restrictions. With the matter now before a larger bench, the focus is on balancing religious autonomy with constitutional morality. The final outcome could have far-reaching implications, not just for Sabrimala, but for the governance of religious institutions across the country. And now shifting our focus to the national capital. After nearly a week of scorching heat ravaging Delhi NCR with temperatures hovering around 40 degrees Celsius, Delhi woke up to a pleasant weather today with the temperature dropping to 29.2 degrees Celsius this morning, while the overall AQI in the Delhi stood at 260. Due to the western disturbance, the weather changed this morning. Dark clouds cover the sky and strong winds. The India Meteorological Department has issued orange and yellow alerts for thunderstorms, dust storms and rain in different parts of Delhi. An orange alert has been sounded for southwest Delhi, with authorities warning of thunderstorms accompanied by winds reaching up to 60 km per hour, along with the possibility of lightning and brief spells of rain. Here's a ground report by my colleague Puneet Sharma from Noida Sector 16. Have a look. Well, a much-needed relief for people in Delhi NCR as Delhi today wakes up to pleasant weather. Orange and yellow alert has been issued for rain showers and thunderstorms in various parts of Delhi. This comes after the national capital and other parts were reeling under scorching heat, with highest temperature crossing the 40 degrees Celsius mark. And with that, it's time for us to slip into a quick commercial breather. Keep watching News 9.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News 9, English news as it should be.
चलो उसको मना लो यार, ठंड से दिल को पिघला दो यार. चलो चलो चलो, let's all go for an Amul ice cream. चलो चलो चलो, चलो चलो चलो, चलो चलो चलो, चलो चलो चलो. Hoops are the flavors, all yum yum. Sandwich, Faluda, epic, kasata. Let's all go for an Amul ice cream. Real milk, real ice cream.
Bhaskar, our first order. Help us build the chutney business from label to website.
In Assam, the debate over infiltration is back.
এইটোৱে হৈছে বিজেপিৰ সংকল্প, এয়াই হৈছে বিজেপিৰ প্ৰতিজ্ঞা.
Will NRC settle the question of identity?
दोनों चाहते हैं कि डरा कर धमका कर इस देश की जनता पर राज करे.
or will the fight over borders will shape this election?
From the ground, the questions that matter, the voices that shape the vote. India votes, only on News 9. This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News 9, English news as it should be.
And now our top focus at this point is a global change and a major development in the global oil market. The United Arab Emirates has announced that it will exit the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, dealing a significant blow to the oil producers bloc. The decision, confirmed by Energy Minister Sohail Al-Muzri, is being described as a strategic shift aligned with the UAE's long-term energy goals. The exit comes amid rising tensions in West Asia with the ongoing Iran war, disrupting supply routes, especially through the critical Strait of Hormuz. Despite being OPEC's fourth largest producer, the UAE says that its departure will not significantly impact markets immediately, given existing supply constraints. But for India, the implications could be mixed. As a major oil importer, India could see short-term relief if increased UAE supply pushes prices down. However, if OPEC coordination weakens and producers act independently, it could lead to greater price volatility in the medium term, complicating fuel pricing and economic planning. The move also reflects a larger shift in the global energy landscape. With rising US shale production, the push towards renewable energy and diverging national priorities, OPEC's traditional grip on oil markets has already been under pressure. The UAE's exit signals a move towards a more fragmented and competitive energy order where no single group fully controls supply dynamics. From the UAE's perspective, the strategy appears pragmatic, maximizing revenues in the current high-demand environment while continuing to invest in diversification and future energy sectors to reduce long-term dependence on oil. With global spare capacity tight and geopolitical risks high, the UAE's decision could have far-reaching implications for oil markets, pricing stability and global energy power equations.
What does it mean for India in terms of its own oil supply?
Buys a lot of oil from OPEC countries as a whole, and also from Russia, since the sanction has been lifted temporarily on Russia. As far as the UAE is concerned, India has a special relationship with the UAE, further strengthened through the FTA with the UAE. So India's oil supply, I don't think, will be affected very much by the UAE's exit from the OPEC. As far as OPEC is concerned, which was set up in 1960, which has had many members walking out, suspending their membership, going back again. So this has been going on for a long time. And there are many countries like Indonesia, for instance, other countries which have suspended their membership, then gone back. So UAE may also rejoin the OPEC at some point of time in future, after things come back to normalcy. And the last point I wanted to mention is that the UAE is apparently miffed with the lack of support in terms of political support and military support from the other GCC countries, primarily Saudi Arabia, in the face of Iranian attacks on the assets which were located in the UAE during the last few weeks. So this could be a way of their expressing their resentment and disappointment with Saudi Arabia in particular, but also Kuwait and the other GCC countries. And that is why it has walked out of OPEC. The last point I wanted to mention is that OPEC was set up by Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Venezuela, the 5 countries. And these still remain. And there are, with UAE's exit from May 1, there would be 5 other countries from Africa. So it could also be a way of showing that the UAE doesn't want itself to associate with Iran in any way at the present juncture.
Meanwhile, Britain's King Charles told the US Congress on Tuesday that despite an age of uncertainty and conflict in Europe and the West Asia, the UK and the US will always be staunch allies united in defending democracy.
Whatever our differences, whatever disagreements we may have, we stand united in our commitment to uphold democracy, to protect all our people from harm, and to salute the courage of those who daily risk their lives in the service of our countries. The story of the United Kingdom and the United States is at its heart a story of reconciliation, renewal, and remarkable partnership. From the bitter divisions of 250 years ago, we forged a friendship that has grown into one of the most consequential alliances in human history. I pray with all my heart that our alliance will continue to defend our shared values with our partners in Europe and the Commonwealth and across the world. And that we ignore the clarion calls to become ever more inward-looking.
Now, Britain's King Charles told the US Congress that the same unyielding resolve seen after the September 11, 2001 attacks on the United States was needed for the defense of Ukraine and her most courageous people in order to secure a truly just and lasting peace.
In the immediate aftermath of 9/11, when NATO invoked Article 5 for the first time, and the United Nations Security Council was united in the face of terror, we answered the call together, as our people have done so for more than a century, shoulder to shoulder, through 2 world wars, the Cold War, Afghanistan, and moments that have defined our shared security. Today, Mr. Speaker, that same unyielding resolve is needed for the defense of Ukraine and her most courageous people. It is needed in order to secure a truly just and lasting peace. From the depths of the Atlantic to the disastrously melting ice caps of the Arctic, the commitment and expertise of the United States Armed Forces and its allies lie at the heart of NATO, pledged to each other's defense, protecting our citizens and interests, keeping North Americans and Europeans safe from our common adversaries.
And now, as the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah continues, despite the US brokered ceasefire, the 1.2 million displaced Lebanese are sinking into a state of despair. Like Khabi Kresis and his family, who are barely surviving in a tent in the capital Beirut, having fled their home in early March just before the south began to be bombarded. Have a look at this report.
Rabia Khes and his family, including 9 children, have been living in a tent in Beirut. Like hundreds of thousands of others, they used to live in southern Lebanon. There, the mechanic fixed cars in his workshop to put food on the table. But on March the 2nd, Hezbollah militants fired into Israel after the Israeli-US attacks on Iran began. Worried about retaliation, Khes rushed his family out with only the clothes on their backs. Israeli strikes on the south, including their town of Khiam, began within moments. What Khes did not predict is that 2 months on, they would still be living on Beirut's streets, relying on donations.
But I told you that without work, this is not a life. I'm a man who likes to work. I like to produce. I don't like someone bringing me a sandwich. I like to earn it myself, from my own sweat and toil. But we're left with nothing. We don't have money, clothes, or belongings, and we were forced to sit in such a place. May God grant us peace so we can return to our village.
Despite a US-brokered ceasefire, Israel has continued striking Lebanon. Its troops have occupied a strip of the south, destroying homes they say are Hezbollah infrastructure. That includes in Khiam, which is now almost entirely flattened. Hezbollah, meanwhile, has kept up attacks on Israeli troops in Lebanon and northern Israel. Israel and Hezbollah accuse each other of breaching the ceasefire, which was signed by the Israeli and Lebanese governments, but not specifically by Hezbollah. The war has displaced some 1.2 million people across Lebanon. and the continuing hostilities are deepening their sense of despair. Chris's sister is also living with the family. She has cancer and is struggling to find health care. And one of Chris's sons lost an eye when an Israeli strike hit their home during the last conflict in 2020.